All right. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is the 6 human needs that drive everybody. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. You probably know that because I've probably told you about it. But this is something that he teaches at the Unleash the Power Within event, which is kind of a starter event. They don't have to follow an order, but it just teaches you kind of the formula of why we do what we do. So there are 6 human needs, okay? And I'm going to explain things real in depth as we go along, but I'm going to start with the first one. So there is a legitimate formula why you do what you do, why people around you do what you do. If anyone's ever hurt you before, there's a reason behind it. And there's only 6. That's the good news. So we are... we're going to start. Okay, so the first one is certainty. Okay, everyone has a need for certainty. And that is your survival need. That is your need to keep you away from pain, to help you avoid pain. It is usually one of the most driving needs out of the 6. Most people have this need. Now, I'm going to break down a lot about how we meet those positively and how we meet those negatively and what to do about it and how we can switch that. So that's kind of what this class is going to be about. Now, on the meeting on Sunday, I'm going to talk about how we can apply this to your business and how you can get your clients addicted to your product. But this will make a lot more sense once you see this and you can kind of analyze yourself and know what drives you and learn the ins and outs and the behind the scenes of, how our brain ticks. And, we're all different. There are millions of different types of people out there, but we're all humans. And so we have basic needs and then we have spiritual needs too. And that's how we get our fulfillment. Okay, so number 1 is certainty. Write that down. And this is your survival need. You avoid pain. Continual pain equals death over time. Okay, so there are pretty much 2 reasons as to why people behave differently. Okay, so we all have these 6 needs, but there are successful people. There are people who in their own brain think they're failures for their entire life. There are people who join direct sales and think, oh, I'll never make it, or oh, I tried this, or oh, I've tried millions of ways to book a party. No, you haven't, but we're kind of going to dive in right there to what creates the fear. So we're diving deeper than your fear itself. Okay, we're going into those details tonight. So, okay, so number 1 out of the 2 reasons as to why people behave differently. Okay, the first reason is because there are 6. We prioritize them differently. We don't all value the same needs in the same ways, okay? And so that's a big reason. Certainty-driven people, if something changes, they freak out. They get pissed off. They get angry. They don't know what to do, so they resort to anger, okay? Versus somebody who might be love-driven, which is a need we'll talk about in a little bit. Someone who is love-driven will sacrifice themselves for other people in a very pure way, and where certainty-driven people, they need to control things, and that's a healthy trait. That is a healthy need and will really certainly drive you forward in your business. But if you are meeting it in a negative way, then it will make your business fail. It'll make you fail in almost anything you try in life. Okay, so what matters most to people who are certainty-driven is that they are in control. Okay, they know what's going to happen. They have a good idea of, how the people around them will react, and they thrive on that. Okay, and so that's perfectly healthy. But the difference in the 2 needs that you focus on the most, that's what drives your life forward or backward, okay, or neutral. But that is your driving force, okay, or the 2 that you focus on. So ultimately, your direction will decide your destination, okay? But a lot of people do it unconsciously. So if we're going to break these down and we're going to learn about it, that gives you the power to then pick your destination and go there. It's that easy. It's not easy, but it's that simple. It really is, okay? So when we're done, you're going to be able to, I like to call it a practical psychologist. You're going to be able to decipher people you meet clients you meet, customers you meet, okay, but your family, and you're going to be able to decipher why they do what they do, okay? So the first reason we behave differently is that we all prioritize those in different ways, okay? The second reason is we all have different belief systems about what it takes to feel certain, okay? We base it off of our past. We base it off of a fear that drives us. We can base it off of, that we decided we will be able to do this and we will be able to make it no matter what. But different people have different blueprints or maps. That's what we're going to call them today, is our blueprints, as to how they meet those needs, okay? So some people, for example, need, $1 million in the bank to feel certain. And that is, they will achieve it because that's their driving force. That's how they will feel certain, okay? Other people just need to pray or use religion or have faith, and they will know it's going to be okay. But we create stories in our own brain as we go along, okay? So your past ultimately is just a story that you tell yourself. Your beliefs are just a story that you've told yourself. And that ultimately decides to yourself and what you tell yourself in your own mind what is fact or fiction. Okay, but what we forget is that we can change that. So, okay, so ways you can get certainty in life. You can get certainty by working out. Okay, that's one that many people resort to. Fear is a physical feeling. Fear is physical. Okay, so when you work out or when you go for a run, you get the blood pumping. That will drive that physical fear away and help you feel certain in a healthy manner, okay? But you can get certainty from your past. You can get certainty from faith. A lot of people get it from eating food, okay? Comfort. It's also certainty and comfort go together. So you don't feel good, you eat food, and, the blood will rush down to your stomach, and finally you'll be able to breathe again. Okay, that's why people who binge eat often feel better after they binge eat, is that's how they calm their mind. Ultimately, it's about blood flow and being able to breathe properly. And I can tell you more about that if you want to. But, some people need 5 cups of coffee to start the day and feel certain that they're ready to take on the day. So there are millions and millions of reasons and ways to feel certain. But ultimately, what is your blueprint for certainty? What does certainty mean to you? And how do you tell yourself you have to behave or think to achieve it? Okay? So who has the need for certainty? Absolutely everybody. Everybody, okay? But we just need to figure out where it lies on our list. So, let's see. I took a lot of notes for you guys. For all of the 6 needs we're going to go over, there are positive ways to meet those needs, there are neutral ways to meet those needs, and there are negative ways to meet those needs. Most people go through life in, honestly, negative ways to meet their needs, but they don't realize it. It's unconscious. They just act upon it, or they think, oh, I can't do this because it's my anxiety, it's my depression, it is my, this happened to me once, so that'll never work. Or I tried it once and it'll never work. You and I, especially in direct sales, we know, well, you didn't try it right, or maybe they didn't have the right mentor. But ultimately, direct sales, you have to dive in and really discover yourself to make it work. But that's one of the beautiful things about this business. That's what we all love. So the most common way that people are certain, usually, is by finding anger. Anger in a moment, and anger at someone, anger at a situation. Most, especially the culture in North America, will resort to anger to find their certainty, okay? So you're to the point where your brain can make stuff up and completely lie to yourself about something that happened. And an example of that would be, let's say you thought someone said something about you once, or you thought they did you wrong, and you were so furious with them, you were going to talk to them, and you were going to, tell them basically where to put it. But when you break down and you actually talk to them, it was an accident, or they did not say that, or, it resolved itself, and that you didn't have to take that anger out on them, okay? But my question is, how certain were you in that moment? when you were angry, okay? And it could be something that completely did not happen. Your brain just made that up, okay? It's a fascinating thing about our brain. And there's a whole nother talk I wanted to do for you about the mind and the power of the mind and fear. And I'll have that one coming up in a week or so. But it's pretty fascinating what we can do to ourselves, okay? But most people meet their needs in a short-term way, short-term solution versus long-term, okay? And another example would be if you need to feel better, you reach for an alcoholic beverage. If you need to feel better, you go out and have a cigarette. If you eat too much, okay? Those are ways of getting certain, okay? Because you know that feeling you're going to get at the other end of it, and you rely on that, okay? So just analyze your behaviors, thoughts, and beliefs around certainty. What does that mean to you, okay? And in all those situations I just listed, that will work for you short term. It'll work for you for 5 minutes, but is it really going to work for you long term? Is it good for you long term? Is it good for the people around you long term? Probably not, okay? So that's how most people live their lives. So you can get certain by working out. You can get certain by working your business. You can get certain by just taking matters into your own hands and not relying on feelings of fear or things like that that make you feel certain. You can resort those into empowering beliefs, okay? Empowering actions, empowering thoughts, okay? Whenever you are kind of feeling that nagging feeling where your brain's telling you you can never do this or they're not going to like you, that's a number one human fear, by the way, is that we're not good enough. That is the number one fear among anyone, is not being good enough, okay? And in direct sales, you can multiply that times 15, okay? It's a crazy amount of reasons why 90% of people fail in direct sales. So, but 2 questions to ask yourself is, what need am I trying to meet in this moment with every action? So I want you to do that over the next few days. Every time you do something, especially something that doesn't empower you, empower your business, empower your family, what need am I trying to meet when I do this, okay? And then what are the negative side effects? Okay, and you can pretend like it's that prescription commercial where, this antidepressant pill that's so beautiful and amazing and this and that, and then they devote 30 seconds at the end of the commercial to go over the side effects that it might cause suicide. Well, that's not, to solve depression, so think about that in your own actions. Literally, an action, a thought pops in your head, and you're like, oh, okay, well, what are the side effects, okay? And if they're all good, keep it. And we'll go through an exercise here at the end that will dive into how to kind of take out our negative actions and beliefs and then replace them with empowering positive ones, but we'll get there. So, what do we call the part of our lives that we do not like? We call them problems, right? Those are our problems. Those are our issues. Those are, why do so many people that have a problem, they know the problem, they're capable of solving the problem, people have given them advice on the problem, they've maybe researched it, you name it, they know the solution, but they don't act on it, okay? The only reason is because it meets one or more of your needs. Okay, and this is where I'll get into kind of we act on it subconsciously, but problems are a huge way that people get certainty. Okay, certainty that they know it won't work out, or certainty that they know they'll be broke, and they literally live there. And as we get in farther of the needs, I'll keep bringing up problems because it's very important, and very important for y'all to eliminate many, many problems in your life that really we make up in our own head. So they're hard to give up whenever they meet multiple of your needs. So an example of that, who's ever stayed in a relationship way, way too long? Way too long, okay? Way too long. And most women have done it. The reason is, one, did you know it was wrong? Yeah, okay. Why did you stay? You probably are getting certainty because at least you know you're safe right here. It might be miserable, but you're safe, you know. You're not putting yourself out on a limb to fall. You're not putting yourself in, you know, immense pain. It might be painful throughout the day, but ultimately you're getting certainty from that, okay? Also, you're getting uncertainty. We'll learn about that need in a second. What if I leave them and I'm alone and I'm miserable? What if they're the best I will ever get and I never, yes, Melinda, for you I will, always. But what if, you know, that's the best you'll ever get and you screwed it up by leaving, okay? Those are the thoughts that go through our brain. So there's uncertainty. So you're meeting two needs so far, okay? But we literally talk ourselves down to where we're comfortable again with the relationship. Okay, like I said earlier, certainty and comfort are the same need, okay? They go hand in hand. So we all have that girlfriend that stays in that relationship for way too long because she's comfortable, okay? But finally, it's painful enough that you eventually decide to go, you have faith in yourself to go. What happens is your certainty switches from, okay, I'm comfortable here and it'll work out or it'll be okay or it'll get better, to no, I'll be okay no matter what. So that is a very common one that we see all the time. So we meet our needs. Which one drives us? That's the biggest question. And then what's our blueprint to achieve that main need? Okay, positive, negative, or neutral. So let's review kind of some ways we get certainty. So you can use prayer. You can do a ritual the same way every day. Some people wake up every day and exercise. Okay, some people sleep in every day because they can't get up because emotionally it's just too hard what they have to face. You can get certainty from lowering your expectations. Okay, nothing ever works for me. It never will work. I asked two friends to book a party and they both said no. So this will never work for me. Okay, you're getting the idea. You'll lose your dream, but you'll meet your needs. Okay, and write that one down. You'll lose your dream, but you'll meet your needs. And that's where our mind will take over and do that for us. And our needs are met, our ultimate survival needs are met, but are we happy? Are we fulfilled? No. Okay, but that's where it's so important to understand these. Okay, so a lot of people try to please everyone. I'll talk about that more later, excuse me. But people will and do give up their dreams to meet their needs. Absolutely, every day. Most of our culture does that, okay? So, and people will even give up their values to meet their needs. And one thing I want to ask you is this, just think to yourself, okay, so do you consider yourself an honest person? Yeah, most people do. Have you ever lied? Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's never lied. So, you know your spirit, you know your soul. Nobody told you you need to be honest. Nobody told you anything. That's just something that we want to be honest. We want to be good people. But ultimately, if being honest will sacrifice one of our needs, certainty, then we will literally give up our values. You'll give it up, okay? And you'll see that's a lot in a lot of people's behaviors. But lying is a very big trait that, you know, somebody might be a good person, but the fact that they're willing to lie, well, they're meeting a need. And like I said earlier, you can do this in negative and positive ways, but also we do it in short-term and long-term ways. So it's deciphering the difference from those. So here's the deal. If you are certain every moment of every day, you know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what people will say, when they're going to say it, what they're going to think. At first, it'd be absolutely amazing, right? For the first few hours, it'll be great. For the first few days, it would be awesome, okay? Especially in our business. You'd be like, she would say no to a party. She would say no. She'll never join my team. She'll join my team. And it would be great. But eventually, what feeling would sink in if you knew every single moment of every single day? Okay? You're going to get bored as hell. So that is why we have a second need, okay? So the second need, write this down, is uncertainty, or we can call it variety, okay? Uncertainty or variety. Variety is the spice of life, okay? That is where the passion lies. That's where the adventures lies. That's where spontaneity lies. And that is where that, just pure excitement in our life comes from, is the need for uncertainty. We have a need for it. So who has a need for certainty? Everyone. Who has a need for uncertainty? Absolutely everyone. So they might, and that's, now that you've learned too, you might learn how, okay, some people prioritize those different. And that is why you have, these adrenaline junkies. And that is why you have people who are literally on time for everything, know their schedule, have it planned out, have it booked down to the hour. Okay. All those are good traits, but is that really how you want to live every moment of your life? Okay. So no. So, uncertainty, the fun thing. All right. How many of y'all love surprises? Okay. Put a note below if you absolutely love surprises. Okay. So you love every surprise you get in life? Absolutely everyone? Well, that's BS. Okay. We love the surprises we want. Okay. We love the surprises we're going to like. Okay. The other surprises we call problems. And here problems come up again. Okay. So the ones you do not want, we call problems. And that is something that literally will drive kind of your motivation for your business, your motivation for your family, your health, everything. Okay. So life comes along, and if there was somebody who says, I don't want to live my life like this, and never know what's going to happen. Clearly they're certainty driven, but some people are like that, and they're like, I just want my life to be a straight line. I want to know what's going to happen. But if you go to the doctor and he hooks you up and you're a straight line, what does that mean? Death. Okay. It means death. Whether you're physically dead or whether you're dead inside or dead for that moment, honey, you ain't going anywhere. Okay. So, life just has a way of naturally doing that. So that's our second need, uncertainty. So question for you, is it possible to meet more than one need with the same action or emotion or belief? Okay. Absolutely. And okay, think about it this way. Have you ever rented a movie that you've seen before? Why'd you do that? Okay. Get a life, but we've all done it. I've done it. Absolutely. Okay. So you have rented a movie that you are certain it is good, but hopefully it's been long enough that you've forgotten enough details that there's uncertainty and variety in there that you still enjoy it. Okay. So that is something that we all do, but we all do it in different manners of our life. So whenever your brain perceives that either doing or believing something meets more than 3 of your needs, you will be addicted to that action or belief. Addicted. Unconsciously addicted. Okay? So for all the people who are like, oh, it's just the way I am. Yeah, but you can change that. Okay? You can kind of unplug and plug in things that are empowering for you and not disempowering. Okay? But if you fulfill more than 3, you're addicted. 3 or more, you're addicted. Okay, so I want you to keep this in mind. All right, so how do we get variety? Okay, there are positive, negative, neutral ways to get variety. We can learning, growing. Okay, pure romance, stay a student. You can take up a new challenge. You can take up a new goal. You can try a new drug. You can have a drunken one-night stand. You can, hang out with that person is terrible for you. Why? Because something exciting always happens. We all have that one friend, okay? So, but the question is, are your actions, beliefs, and thoughts positive, negative, or neutral, and how you get that? Okay, the third human need is significance. We all have the need to feel important, to feel special, to feel unique, okay? We all have that need. Everyone has that need. Not just the person who's loud at the party. Every single person has that need. We all need to feel important to someone. We need to know our worth, okay? And a lot of people will come back and say, oh, I don't need to be significant. I don't want to be the center of attention. No, but you need to feel important to someone, So you can get significance by taking risks, by breaking records, by achieving something, by dressing a certain way, by being extremely flirtatious. The attention grabbers, they are driven by significance, okay? The loud person at the party, they are driven by significance. They need to know they're significant to enjoy themselves. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can buy a fancy new car, okay? You can buy a big old house. You can, whatever your definition is for significance, okay? But as well, negative ways too, you can tear others down, okay? And just tear people down who are trying to build something. So two things on that note, whenever, especially when we're starting a business with direct sales, and especially when it's a business like ours that deals with certain products and relationship products, somebody might be against that, okay? Often the two driving needs or forces that will make them against that is, one, they have a need for significance, okay? If you do this, you're going to take away time from me, okay? Am I going to be as significant if you start a new business? Am I going to be, that important to you if you're making money over here, having fun over here, and doing all this without me? Of course they will be. They're, your partner, your family, your husband, your girlfriend, whatever. Of course they will be. But that is the thought that goes through their head. The other thing that goes through their head, if they're certainty driven, is, are you going to be making money? Is this gonna, a business that will hold up? Are you gonna do a good job? Things are gonna change, and so they naturally want to stop the change from happening. Now, this is a survival need, okay? Certainty is a survival need. So they mean it out of absolute love. They mean it because they care for you. But at the same time, they don't want their life to change either. And you taking on this new venture will change things for them. So just want to point that out. Okay. The significance is a huge, huge force behind violence and behind people hurting other people, people tearing each other down. They have a need for significance. So there are two ways to have the tallest building in town. One, you can build the tallest building. You can work your ass off and you can get there and you can make it happen, right? Or two, you can tear down everyone else's building. Either way, you're going to have the two tallest buildings. And thanks to our world of social media, literally everyone has the ability to tear somebody down in seconds, okay? So what's faster though? What is the fastest way to gain significance, okay? Is it to work your ass off and achieve a goal, or is it to tear somebody else down, okay? Which one's easier? Which one takes less intelligence, okay? Which one is available to everybody, even if they don't have to work, even if they don't know how to do whatever it is that they're trying to build a building, they're trying to build a business, they're trying to, build a family, whatnot. That is an extremely powerful voice about violence, okay? So just think about that whenever somebody's saying anything negative to you. I want you to remember that, one, they want to be certain. They don't want their life changing either, but at the same time, they want to be significant. And anyone who ever does hurt you, significance, okay? If I was going through the worst part of town, and I'm just, walking through town, and you come up to me and you hold a gun to my head, how significant did I just become to you? Okay? You didn't know me 5 seconds ago. Right now, I'm the most significant person that you've ever met. So violence has a huge, absolutely huge driving force for significance, okay? A lot of people will kill for significance. It's a very powerful force, okay? Which, by the way, when somebody is violent, so picture somebody holding a gun to your head, are they getting certainty? Yeah. Okay, they're certain there's going to get a reaction. They're certain they're going to, get money, get whatever, for whatever reason, any violence happens. They're going to hurt someone. They are certain. They're also uncertain because it's a new game every time. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the other person's going to do. Okay, so they're getting uncertainty. Also, they're getting significance. They're hugely significant to you at that moment. And another fourth need we're going to talk about in a second is love and connection. Is that person that's hurting you, are they connected to you at that moment? Absolutely. In an extremely deep way. So it meets 4 human needs. An addiction, like I said earlier, if it's meeting more than 3 of your needs, it is an addiction. So that's why a lot of people who, act out in violence a lot, that's good too. So, but, and it's all in the name of whatever their blueprint is to get significance. So, it's just a shame that a lot of people aren't educated on that. So, all right. Fourth need is connection and love. Okay. Connection and love. So they are interchangeable, but most people are afraid to love on a deep level because, oh, I loved once and it went away, or love was too painful or whatnot. So they settle for the crumbs of connection. Okay. So not to say connection's a bad thing. It just happens to be what a lot of people settle for. So if you possibly you're the type that has wanted a relationship for a long time or wanted a healthy relationship for a long time, and you can't ever make it happen and it just won't happen, or you've been divorced or whatnot. Okay, sometimes love converts into connection, okay, where maybe you're also certainty driven and driven by love, but if somebody can't make you feel certain first and foremost, then you're not going to open up to them and love them, and vice versa. Okay, love and connection. And this is a huge, huge reason why so many relationships fail, is because you aren't fulfilling their need for love and connection. You might be fulfilling yours and giving them all the love you have to give, but are you fulfilling their need for love and connection? Okay, and what's the book called? The 5 Love Languages. If you're a pure romance consultant, read that. It's really good. But ultimately, that's talking about the same thing. So many marriages fail because the connection and love was not there and the significance was not there. Okay, if you aren't making your partner feel significant, then that they're supposed to be the most significant person to you in the world. Okay, so anyway, that's just a tidbit. So, okay. Oh, also, I want to point out, so men are testosterone driven, and they will literally die for significance. A lot of men and men of history and, you know, violent men, empowering men, they will die for significance, okay? They will die to have their name on this plaque, this name on this, you know, written in the history books, to be significant, okay, versus continuing their life. That's a common thing. Women are love and connection driven, okay? That is our natural driving force until the mind starts to, you know, put fears in our brains and put things in our brains that turn us to other needs. But women will die for love, okay? So biochemically, females are wired to nurture and support other humans, okay? Not one of us would be here today if it were not for a woman. Men can't do that, okay? So let me see. I want to skip over this. Oh, with women, one of our most common issues and kind of ways to meet multiple needs at once is that we tend to take care of everyone else's needs before our own. Okay, we will literally put everyone else first, down to the dog. We will take care of the dog first before we take care of ourselves. And that meets your need for certainty. You're certain everyone around you is okay. Control, certainty, and comfort. Okay, all the same word. You're certain you're getting that control over your life and making sure everybody's okay. You're getting uncertainty because you don't know if that need is going to be, they're going to repay you with what you need. You don't know that, but you'll take care of them either way. Very pure love. You're getting significance. You're very significant to these people, okay? You're their mother. You're their sister. You are their friend. You are there for them. You're getting a huge amount of significance. And then you're getting love and connection. So that is an addiction because it's meeting more than 3 of your needs. That means 4, if not 5 or 6 when we get to the other ones. But that's one of the most common blueprints women have about meeting multiple needs. And the problem is you will meet your needs, but you'll give up yourself. Okay? So if you are more enriched yourself, if you are fulfilling your needs in a pure, healthy way, you have more to give to them. You have more to teach them how to be fulfilled, how to enrich their lives. And I just want to point that out because that's a huge thing that women go through. And that's a big reason why women join this business, is to be there for their kids or support their spouse or, you know, fill in the blank. There's so many reasons. But, okay, switching gears. Problems. So we're on love and connection. We're on number 4. So love and connection. Problems, bringing that up again. or surprises or bad surprises. These are the safest way to connect with others and ourselves without getting rejected. That's why they're so addicting, okay? That is why they're so addicting. But you connect with yourself because you feel sorry about yourself, and you're in your own brain. So you are just on such a deep level, you are, sympathizing with yourself, and you understand why you can't meet this goal or get this done because of that, feeling sorry for yourself, or just feeling like you're not good enough. And then others flock to you and they want to help and nurture. People naturally want to nurture and help a problem. Okay. So you get that love and connection from other people, and it might not be a behavior you're a fan of. It might not be something you like, but you're addicted to it. And you resort back to that when things are hard. Oh my gosh, this just happened. I can't do it. Oh. Everyone has problems. Everyone does. And so it's how you deal with it. Okay. A lot of people are fearful of being successful because they are ultimately scared of what people will think in the future. Which is just, it's really laughable when you think about it, because it holds you back from achieving anything. But people think, if I'm wildly successful, they'll like me for a while, but eventually I'm going to annoy them with my success. They're going to, they won't be impressed by me because they just expect it from me. Or, that they think, oh, lucky you, that's easy for you. But that's not true. So people will literally put giant problems in their life as a need to meet certainty. They know why they can't do it. They are certain they feel this way. They're certain in their anger. They're certain in their disappointment with themselves, with their depression. They're uncertain because they don't know what's going to happen. They're not dealing with their life. They're not, moving forward and taking care of their problems. And they're significant. They're significant as hell to themselves, because they're this huge reason why they can't get anything done. And then love and connection. You're sympathizing with yourself, and you're getting attention from others. Oh, let me help you. Okay, no. So the problem with leading with giant problems, okay, is most commonly we think, if you have a problem, who's going to be mad at you? No one. Who are you in competition with? Nobody. Not a lot. Which, side note, have you ever heard two people arguing about whose problem is bigger? Oh, you think that's bad? Wait till you hear this. Love and connection, uncertainty, significance. They are fighting over who has the biggest problem. Okay? And neither of them would tell you that's what they want. They want more money. They want a happier relationship. They want a better life, but they're not doing anything about it because they're fulfilling 3 or more of their needs. Okay? So if you ever hear somebody say, listen to this, be like, girl, just shush. Okay. So the problem with problems is so many people are, oh, I understand. Oh, I understand. So they're patting you on the back. Okay. So most of us will subconsciously create problems to connect with others and ourselves. Okay. Pay attention to this in the world around you, because every single person does it. And if they were just to wake up around it, they would be able to solve it. But like I said earlier, have you ever met somebody who has a giant problem? Maybe you've tried to help them fix it. Maybe they have, told you, oh, I think this would fix it. Or, they know the solution. They aren't doing anything about it. They're absolutely addicted to their problems. So they feel significant to themselves and others because it's safer than doing anything different. Problems are safe. Okay? The issue is, like I said earlier, sometimes we meet our needs in short term and sometimes long term. Most of the things we do for the short term are negative. Okay? Go out and have that cigarette. Go out and have that drink. Go out and, take that drug or take that prescription pill or whatnot. It's not good for your body. However, it meets your needs right now. Okay? So, and that's why a lot of people will never change. So, what are the first 4? Certainty. This is your need for survival, for comfort, for control. You want to know what the outcome will be, even if it's not wanted. Okay? People will value getting the need for certainty over taking a risk because they know the outcome. Example, I'm not going to call this girl and invite her to join my team because I think she'll say no. She'll say no. How do you know? You don't know. She might be waiting for a second job offer to come through. She might be completely financially strapped on the edge of bankruptcy. And you're prejudging her because of something your mind made up. Okay, so just think about that. But by the way, people will avoid the unknown for the expected 99% of the time. Write that one down. People will absolutely avoid the unknown for the expected 99% of the time. Okay, that's why most people are just living mediocre lives and have all these giant goals and dreams and just are sitting there, that flat line we talked about. So every time you take a chance, every time you pick up the phone and you're nervous, every time you take that step of courage, you're defying the odds. Think about that. Think about it. You're defying the odds. If 99% of people will settle for the known outcome versus something that they don't know what will happen, don't know which way it will go, they will settle for that. So every time you take that risk, you defy the odds. So pat yourself on the back for that. Okay. All right. Number 2 is uncertainty, and this is our need for surprise, for variety. Number 3 is significance. You need to know you're important to people. Okay. Number 4 is love and connection. And most people settle for connection because they once fell in love and it hurt, or somebody that they did love hurt them, and they want to translate that into a reason why they shouldn't love, which is ludicrous. But, all right, so the first 4 needs are the needs of the personality. Those 4 needs I just went over are the needs that make up people's personality. So like I said, there are 2 reasons why everyone behaves differently. 1, we all prioritize those needs differently. You can have a certainty and significant driven person. You can have a certainty and love driven person, a love and significance, and they're all going to meet that differently. The second reason is because they all have different blueprints how to meet each individual need. Okay, different beliefs on how to feel significant, on how to feel loved. Okay, so pay attention to this with your spouse and your family. It's extremely important. So if you, let me see. All right, I'm going to skip over that. Also, willpower never tends to last, okay? Willpower never lasts, but if something meets 3 or more of your needs, you will do it every time effortlessly. Effortlessly. So if you think about, okay, so I now meet certainty in a negative way, uncertainty in a negative way, significance in a negative way, and love and connection, that one, hopefully it's not in a negative way, but if you think about that, you will literally always default back to whatever your current situation is, okay? And they say, you make the same amount of money or within $5,000 per year salary of your 5 closest friends, okay? You're going to default back to that. You always have a default, but willpower never lasts. So if we can figure out our needs, figure out what drives us, and then replace them with empowering actions or thoughts or beliefs, that is effortless, okay? So that's something extremely important to do when you have your own business, is literally plug in empowering ways to get those done, and it'll happen effortlessly. You'll be excited to wake up and, call every client. You'll be excited to, take her out to a coffee date and join the business, So the biggest addiction in our culture right now, and for hundreds of years, it is not alcohol, it's not drugs, it's not prescription pills. The biggest addiction is problems. Think about that, okay? So problems, they allow us to try and deal with our deepest fear, which I mentioned earlier. Our deepest fear as a human is that we're not enough, okay? That's going to be the deepest fear of everyone that you meet at a party. That's going to be the deepest fear of people around you that you love, people you live with, people you have brought into the world, yourself. Okay, that's going to be their deepest fear. So always make sure to abolish that. But the problems allow us to try to deal with our fear. It's not me. It's my ADD. It's my depression. It's my anxiety. It's, it's because I went through this. It's because this just happened. Okay, that allows us to deal with our fear, but we know we're not really dealing with anything. So, but you never actually deal with it, and you will never be fulfilled. You'll never be fulfilled. It is not a recipe for fulfillment. So fulfillment comes from our deepest two needs, our last two. So we're on the last leg, so stick with me. Fulfillment comes from fulfilling the spiritual needs. And I don't mean spirituals and religious. I mean the needs of our spirit, okay? Our purpose in life, our passion, our why. We talk about that a lot in Pure Romance. So the need of our spirit, and if you lead with these two, if you make these your two driving needs, every other need will happen flawlessly and in a much healthier way. And so that's something just to keep in mind. Okay, the fifth one is growth. If we aren't growing, we're dying. Okay, this is, if your relationship's not growing, it's dying. Okay, if your business is not growing, it's dying. Can a business survive at a plateau? Maybe for a little bit, but no, that's going down. That ship is going down, okay? So there's really no plateau in life at all. Growth is life. Growth is vibrancy. Growth is, your reason to wake up tomorrow and take on your challenges, okay? So progress is happiness. You write that one down. Progress is happiness. You might not have achieved your goal. You might not, if it's losing weight, you might not be the 30 pounds down you want to be. You might just be 5 pounds down, but are you happy? Are you excited you're 5 pounds down? Yup. Okay. In our business, okay, you might have a goal for 10 parties a month and to be fully stocked, but last weekend you had 2 parties and you were able to order a couple $100 and add that to your stock. Okay. Are you sad about that? No, you're happy. Okay. So the real recipe for happiness is progress. Okay, remember that. It's not absolutely achieving the goal. It's not getting to that end destination. It's the progress. It's the journey. And we withhold that happiness from ourselves. And it's actually really tragic because we always have the opportunity to be happy and just release that happiness within ourselves. But we withhold it from ourselves until we get here. Well, just make progress and allow yourself to be happy. So, if your relationship's getting better, if your business is getting better, you might not be there yet, but you are on the path to being fulfilled, okay? Anytime you achieve something and you don't set up a new goal, you lose momentum. And the problem with that is the law of familiarity is going to come in. So that principle is that, okay, well, let me ask you this way. Have you ever gotten something that at the time you're like, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful. I'm just going to be the happiest person alive when I can get here. And then you get there and it might be great for a few minutes. It might be great for a few months. But eventually you're just kind of like, oh, and then fast forward 6 months down the road, you're like, is this it? Is this really it? Is this, all it is? It's not that exciting. So the law of familiarity is something comes in, you get used to it, you take it for granted, and it's not special anymore. So growth keeps us from that, okay? So the purpose of a goal in life is not what you achieve, but it's who you become to achieve it. Did you hear that? Okay, the purpose of a goal is not what you get, it's who you become to achieve it, okay? What you get will never make you happy. It won't. Maybe for 5 minutes, but it won't. But who you become will make you very, very happy or very, very sad. Okay, it just depends on your approach. And the sixth human need is contribution. We all have a need to give something to the world, okay, to give something beyond ourselves, to contribute, to start a family, to, change the world in a beautiful way, to have our impact, to leave our legacy, to leave our stamp on the world, okay? Every animal on the planet has to contribute something to the world or they die off. It's called evolution, okay? So we as humans, we might not die physically if we're not contributing. However, part of us dies inside, okay? And that's a reason why these last two needs often go overlooked is because people are so focused on survival that they can't see outside of themselves. Well, the whole point of success is to get to a point where you are absolutely, able to, whether it's support your family, whether it's give to this charity, whether it's start a charity, whether anything like that, is the point to give. to get to this point so you're able to give. And that's even in the Bible. Okay, so anyone who thinks success is selfish, they just don't know the right definition. So let's see. Contribution. Okay, whenever you achieve a goal and you actually achieve something, or maybe something happens and you are just so absolutely out of your mind excited that you have to pick up the phone and call somebody you love and tell them about it. Okay, I did that with my sister the other day about I got approved to work crew on a private Tony Robbins event, and I was going to be like one of 5 crew members, and I mean I was jumping up and down. I just call her and I'm like, oh my gosh. So you can only feel so much pleasure within yourself before you have to overflow it and give it to others. And that's a really beautiful thing about the human nature. So you can only feel so much before you have to give it. And when you give, when you have something to give, and I'm not talking just money, but when you have something to give, you fill up your emotional cup. It's overflowing. You absolutely fill it up. So how fulfilled are you on a scale from 1 to 10 when you are contributing to, your business, when you're contributing to, helping a girl start her own business, and a single mom who's living paycheck to paycheck, and now she can, fast forward a year, and we know a few of those in our team that, they are financially stable, they are debt-free, they are just so empowered, and, somebody on our team offered them the opportunity to do that. How does that feel? Okay, that's what needs to drive our business. So, okay, so I want to make a few distinctions. Okay. People are driven by typically 2 needs out of the 6. Okay, none of the needs are wrong. There's no wrong need to have as your driving force. However, there are many wrong ways to get them. Many. Okay, so also, whenever people do stupid things, you have that friend, you have that family member, yourself. Whenever people do stupid things, it's always to meet their needs. And it's always to meet their needs in an immediate way that helps them now, but it's probably disempowering for later. So just, we're coaches in this business. We are bringing in people that eventually will be our closest friends, and we are helping them start a business, okay? And you really need to know how to pinpoint those things about others' personalities. So, if somebody's doing something stupid, well, maybe they just need to feel significant for that moment, or certain for that moment, or needed some variety, okay? But people are literally starving to meet their needs when they do something stupid. I want to put that out. Also, I want you to write this down. If you do not sacrifice for what you want will be the sacrifice. Absolutely. And that's where I go back to earlier when I was talking about how women have this need to take care of everyone else first. And then, here they are, this mother, or maybe their kids have left the nest and have gone away to school, and they don't even know who they are anymore, okay? They don't even know what they want. That's a very severe example of just giving, and not kind of taking care of yourself there and putting it in there. Okay, so if you stay awake and pay attention to people around you, you'll be able to decipher, be able to sell to them better. You'll just be able to figure out what makes them tick and go off based on that, okay? Or you'll be able to help them because you can see what makes them tick. So my questions for you are, writing this down, you need to find out your driving 2 needs. You need to find out what makes you tick all the way up in life to this point, okay? So what are your daily musts? We have our musts, we have our shoulds, and we have our want tos, okay? What are your absolute daily musts, okay? And just jot those down. And then as you're looking at the list, think of like, okay, am I getting certainty from this? Am I getting variety from this? Significance, love, growth, or contribution? And then also, what are your consistent emotions? So like I said earlier, a lot of people meet their needs through emotions, and that could be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. What are your consistent emotions? What thoughts keep you up in the middle of the night? What thoughts do you wake up panicked about? Okay, what do you spend the most time stressed about? Okay, what do you, just pulls the life out of you? Write those down, okay? While you're at it, write down your consistent fears. What are your consistent fears? Is it picking up the phone? Is it, trying to start recruiting? Is at that you are afraid of success? That's extremely popular. That many people feel that. Okay, you will literally withhold yourself from happiness and progress because you're afraid of success. Okay, and success isn't anything to be scared of. The mind is a survival mind. Our mind is thousands of years old. Thousands, okay? Thousands of years ago, we might have had to run from a saber-toothed tiger and, to depend on our survival. So now your brain, you think of something new you want. It's like this great idea, this great opportunity, this great, I should call this person for a party. And your brain will literally come in and be like, oh, but you shouldn't do that because of this. You shouldn't do that, because this happened last time. Or what if they say this? Or what if they think this of you? Great, your brain's here for a reason. It's a survival brain. But all you need to do is say, move along, thank you, I'm not dying here, I'm okay, and then proceed and conquer your fear. Okay, but your brain does that with success. So very powerful. Think about that. Okay, so write down what your daily musts are and your consistent emotions and your consistent fears. Write those down. And then what emotions hold you back. Okay, so when you aren't fulfilling something, when you're not taking action to take care of that problem, what emotion are you feeling that prevents you from doing that? Okay, so think on those. I want you to really write those down. So ultimately, you're going to pinpoint, are you certainty driven? Are you variety driven? Are you significant driven? Are you driven by love and connection? Are you driven by growth? Are you driven by contribution? And growth and contribution are two things those are the rare birds, okay? Not a lot of people are driven by those unless they have spent a lot of time developing themselves, okay? Unless they have grown and really been through a lot of life and conquered it. So most people are certainty and significance driven. Are the worst two, because you have to control everything, you have to be important to everyone. Well, that's not going to happen. And we can talk more about this on another time, but that's what I was at the time I originally did this exercise in 2014, and that's what most people start out as. It might be one or the other, but if you can insert some love in there, if you can insert some variety in there, then you'll really see things change. But on another level, if you can get growth or contribution centered and meet growth and contribution first, all the other needs will be met simultaneously, automatically. Okay, of course you're going to feel the need for certainty, but instead of being worried and certain that nobody will say yes to you, your certainty is now, but I have something to give to the world, and I'm going to charge after it, and I'm going to make it happen. And that's how you get certainty, and that's how successful people do it. Okay, so you'll just replace these feelings with ones that are empowering. All right, so my other question is, what two needs drive your business? They can be totally different, the ones that drive your life and the ones that drive your business. Okay, and then what two needs do you want to drive your business? Okay, and how will that transform your business? Okay, pretty easy to say. So just be grateful that our brain does act in that way. Your brain's always trying to keep you alive, always trying to keep you safe. Be grateful for that. Don't beat yourself up for that, because that's something we call the mind, and everybody has that trait. Everybody, it's almost like a collective mind. Like there's millions of people and there's one mind over them. Okay. Oh, I have this great idea. Oh, that's a terrible idea. It will never work. Okay. Think of it like a little bird flying by. Okay. Oh, there's the mind trying to keep me safe. Well, I'm safe. Thanks. All right. Shoo, go away. And just let it float away. Don't live there. Okay. So one thing I wanted to bring it back to is Chris Chickenelli. He always talks about get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So you need to switch from certainty to variety and interchange those. And like I said, your mind, your body, your entire life will find a way to meet certainty, and will find a way to meet the survival needs. So lead with the ones that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay. So it's it's possible to control a little pond, okay? It's possible to control a certain amount of things. It's impossible to control the world. So pay attention to what you have your blueprint as for certainty, that you have to control this or it's not going to work. Well, no, that's just something your brain made up, and it's bullshit, okay? It can still work and it will still work. But you're never going to try and you're never going to go after it unless you abolish that thought. So, okay, so that's really it. So my point on this whole speech is to learn the 6 human needs and break it down. You know, go big or go home. It's not go big and go home. It's one or the other. And you're going to have to put yourself in a lot of uncomfort, but it will pay off. It will pay off, absolutely. So after this, I'm going to do a talk at the meeting that will go over just how to apply this in your business, how to use certain words in your demo, how to use certain words when you're describing certain products or what services we offer, and you know how to talk to a recruit lead that subconsciously will give them the tools to fulfill their needs, okay? You don't have to teach this whole concept to a recruit lead, okay? No, and don't do that because she'll run. But you do need to understand how to talk to herself about that, okay? And have her pick up on that it will fulfill more than 3 needs, so she'll be addicted. If it fulfills more than, if it's 4, then time slips away. So just think about that. But thank you for joining me, ladies, and I'll talk to you later. All right?